How's it going, everyone? Want to go over a great update to the PlayStation Store and making the refund process much easier. However, there is still work to be done, and ideally you want to get it to a place where you want it to be like PC and Steam, and I believe Xbox adopts the same model. I just don't know if PlayStation's ever going to go down that route. We'll talk about that. Got a couple of other updates. Helldivers 2's next major update, Into the Unjust, has been announced, and it'll be dropping next week. And an incredibly well-received PC game that came out back in 2021 will finally be making the transition to PlayStation 5. This is going to be a sleeper, so we'll talk Opus Echo of the Star Song coming to PlayStation 5 at the end of this video. You want to be on the lookout for that. But first of all, PlayStation Store refunds can now be processed via the app or website via your transaction history. Now, that is great. A lot of you guys probably didn't even know refunds were available on the PlayStation Store. However, the caveat is the PlayStation Store's refund policy is so much different than Steam's refund policy. Look, it is great that they are alleviating the process and making it a lot easier where you don't have to contact support or anything like that. All you have to do, if you have the app, open the PlayStation Store app, hit the menu button to the PS Store at the top right of the screen, hit the transaction history button, and you should be able to request a refund. On top of that, if you're on the website, you could do it through the account transaction history as well. It's pretty straightforward to do. Again, there is the caveat of the PlayStation Store's refund policy is this. You have 14 days from the purchase to request a refund, and you can never have even started the download process for the game. Yes, you can, obviously you can't even play the game, but you can't even start the download process. If you start the download process, it's over. And from my experience, doesn't the PlayStation Store just auto-trigger the downloads? Like, generally speaking, when I bought things on the PlayStation Store through the PS5 console, my downloads have always been auto-triggered. You know, maybe there's a window that doesn't make it auto-triggered, but I always feel like the downloads are auto-triggered. I just bought a couple of games recently, and I recall vividly that the download's triggering right away. But I guess if you buy games through the PlayStation Store website, and you don't trigger the download, it'll be that way. And maybe if you bulk buy games, they don't all trigger the download at the same time. So, like, from that vantage point, you can request a refund. Look, we need to get it to the point where everything is like Steam and Xbox, I believe. Credit to Microsoft and Xbox, I believe they offer this policy as well, where you can download the game. You have a 2-hour window of playing the game, and if you bought the game within 14 days and you have 2 hours or less of playtime, let's just say less than 2 hours of playtime, you can request a refund, no questions asked, and they'll give you your money back. Now, you can say, oh, people can abuse this policy, and it'll open the floodgates for people to just buy. Well, how much of a game are you going to play for 2 hours? Are you going to play the entire PlayStation Store catalog and play 2 hours of every single game? I can understand that maybe to an extent of, oh, like a lot of people will buy games out of FOMO and to just get the dopamine rush, and if you let them play the game, then they'll come to their senses and refund the game. Like, how many sales are you really losing? And you would be building so much goodwill. In the case of the PlayStation Store, do I see them doing this? No, but at the very least, can we make it so you can trigger the download and it's just a policy of you can't boot the game up, or even lower it to you can play the game for 15 minutes. If somebody plays the game for 15 minutes and they realize, oh, I can't play it for XYZ reason, like, they're not making a scratch into the game. But, again, if nothing else, at least make it so you can trigger the download, and if you never boot up the game, you can still get a refund, because I think that's the biggest issue right now. The downloads, first of all, from my experience, they just auto-trigger when you buy games on the PlayStation Store. Maybe, you know, if you pre-order a game and the preload isn't live yet, okay, you're good to go then to refund your game, but there's more that could be done as far as just offering a refund policy that isn't going to be abused. Steam offers a great refund policy, and do you think Steam and Valve, they're hurting for cash, they're hurting for people buying their game? No, people are still buying games in droves. It doesn't matter. Are console players and PlayStation players more susceptible to buying games for a dopamine hit, and you know, they'll have to stick with their purchase, and giving them that 2-hour window is too much? I think the 2-hour window is fine, but if nothing else, give them a 15 to 30 minute window, or at the very least, let them download the game, and if they never boot it, refund it then, because I think that's the biggest issue with the refund policy. policy right now. I like that they're alleviating the process, I like that they're streamlining the process, but the process can be better in terms of what is actually eligible for a refund. You know, it is nice that there are times that I feel like a big PlayStation Store sale is running and people just mass buy a ton of games, and obviously all those downloads aren't triggered at the same time, at least I don't think they are, and if you mass buy like a billion games and then you realize, okay, maybe I didn't need to add 20 games to my backlog and then you can refund some of it. Okay, I can actually understand that it being effective in that way, but you know, again, you could just open it up to a more compelling refund policy that I think people would appreciate across the board. But nonetheless, that is being updated right now. All right, moving on from that, speaking of updates, Helldivers 2 will be getting a major update in Into the Unjust, and that'll be launching on September the 2nd. The Dust Devils Premium War Bond will be following on September the 4th. This is coming off the heels of the official Xbox release today. Makes a lot of sense that they're rolling out the details on this now. The ODST crossover is there as well. And now we have Into the Unjust as a brand new update. Enter the gloom. It's finally time to discover what lies behind the gloom shroud enveloping these planets, what we call hive worlds. Prepare your squad to disappear into the fog and discover new dangers, from towering structures built by Terminids to what horrors lurk beneath the planet's surface. Into the heart of darkness, deep underground, lies a labyrinth of cave tunnels that twist and turn, infested with the hive lung that seems to be the force that produces the thickening fog that makes up the gloom. Because of the nature of the caves, your Super Destroyer won't be able to give you full support. It'll be your team alone against the horror. Terrors above and below. What little intelligence we have on the gloom contains information about a new subterranean species of Terminid warriors, bile spewers, and chargers that, when they detect a threat, will burrow underground and begin moving toward prey. Once close enough, they erupt from the ground and attack. It doesn't stop there. The gloom has mutated the Terminids even further into grotesque monsters like the Dragon Roach, a menacing in the sky that dives unsuspecting Helldivers and rains down burning bile. Take back the hive world, and weapons and stratagem updates as well. Dust Devils comes with a hefty offering of 1 primary weapon, a new throwable, and 3 unique stratagems as well that'll aid in clearing the air and all the bugs on hive world. The latest major update for Helldivers 2 seems to be a surge of interest coming back to the game with the Xbox launch, the ODST crossover. And actually, let me pull up how this game is doing on Steam right now from a concurrent player count standpoint. 113,000 concurrent players. Very good number. I know, you know, a year and a half ago it was peaking at over 400,000, but retaining 25% of your player base for a live service game, that is very, very good, you guys. Yeah, you guys know the story of live service games cratering beyond belief, and, you know, having that consistent of a player base is still incredible. Like Marvel Rivals, for example, at 53,000 concurrent players, and that game is doing very, very well still, I would argue. But there you go with that. That update will be out on September the 2nd. And lastly, I want to note this. Opus Echo of Starsong Full Bloom Edition is coming to PlayStation 5 on September the 4th. Throw it onto the pile of games dropping on September 4th with Chronos the New Dawn, Hollow Knight Silk Song, Opus Echo of Starsong. I think on Switch and PC, Shuten Order is also coming out, a brand new Spike Chunsoft game, which that game looks really good, but not going to be on PS5, unfortunately. But Opus Echo of Starsong now on PS5. It is at a hefty price point, $35.49, for example, or for reference, the PC version is $24.99 and regularly goes on sale for south of, like, I want to say $12, around the $11.99 range. But the game was received really well, with 1,200 reviews and 94% positive, so just shy of that overwhelmingly positive threshold. It's the definitive version of the visual novel-style adventure game, now with all-new voice acting. Dive in and enjoy an intergalactic journey that transcends time through love, taking place in a lawless solar system at the height of a gold rush in space. Players play as the exiled noble June, who is accompanied by Ada, a witch orphaned by war. Together, they embark on a journey of self-discovery as they search for treasure-filled asteroids of legend and lore. I've heard it's an incredibly emotional game, and it will be out on PlayStation 5 September the 4th. Again, price is a little bit hefty comparatively to the PC version, but what can you do? At least it'll be available and you can get it down the line on a sale. Maybe it'll be a plus title, we'll see. But that is going to do it for me. Again, PlayStation Store getting a nice update with refunds finally made easier by Sony. Helldivers 2 major update Into the Unjust will be launching on September 2nd, and Opus Echo of Starsong Full Bloom Edition coming to PS5 on September the 4th. That'll do it for me. Let's just hope that at some point they adjust the refund policy and it could be better. Again, Put it in line with Steam, put it in line with Xbox. I think that would be great, but that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.